By the time the alien ambassador stopped laughing at the coffee maker, Earth's orbital cannon had already locked onto his flagship. By the time the Varkan ambassador stopped laughing at the coffee maker, Earth's orbital cannon had already locked onto his flagship. "Commander Alara Quinn, Terran Union," she said with a warm smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her handshake was firm but pleasant, her tone easygoing, her Earth Standard uniform creased to perfection. Everything about her said harmless, except the eyes. The eyes were calculating. The Intergalactic Tech Expo buzzed with energy aboard the neutral trade station orbiting Seraphis 9. Dozens of species flaunted chrome-plated marvels, gravity disruptors, subdimensional drives, sentient AI pets. Amidst this glittering display, the human booth stood awkwardly modest, almost insulting. A table with mismatched kitchen appliances. A battered microwave. Something labeled Roomba. A toaster. And worst of all, a metal pot with a burbling, gurgling noise that filled the room with the scent of scorched beans. Varkan Ambassador Jiltrax, scaled, crimson-skinned, with a jaw wide enough to swallow a grapefruit whole, pointed a clawed finger at the pot and choked out a raspy hiss of laughter. "This relic is your defense technology?" Ilara poured herself a cup of coffee. "This, Ambassador, is the foundation of human diplomacy, war strategy, and morning survival. We call it a French press. Would you like cream?" He barked a laugh again, dismissing her with a wave. The other delegates looked uncomfortable but intrigued. The Ravik Technarch, Sali, an amorphous being with twitching metallic tendrils, hovered cautiously, scanning the devices. "These artifacts appear dangerously outdated. You display them, why?" Ilara sipped her coffee and shrugged. "We figured we'd be honest. This is what built our civilization. Duct tape, caffeine, stubbornness." Matron Pellin of the Alari, ancient and statuesque, narrowed her amber eyes. "What are you hiding, human?" Ilara's smile didn't falter. "Nothing at all, matron. That's the point." Behind her, the Roomba made a gentle ding noise and resumed its slow roll across the polished floor, unremarkable and unnoticed. The aliens weren't just confused, they were offended. The Ravik displayed self-aware surveillance drones capable of predicting planetary revolts before they happened. The Varkan showed off a plasma whip that could cleave moons. The Alari brought a living crystal that spoke in music and predicted solar flares. And the humans? They demonstrated how Velcro worked. A short man in glasses, Dr. Raoul Eben, attached a spare grenade to his vest with a Velcro patch and said, "Now imagine this in 0G. Efficient, right?" A silence followed. "I fail to see how that equates to battlefield supremacy," Technarch Sali murmured. Ilara interjected smoothly. "We don't aim to impress. We aim to survive. Different goalposts." "Survival?" Jiltrax sneered. "You have no fleet worth naming. Your orbitals are silent. Your soldiers wear cloth. Even your tech is adorable. You'll find we have a talent for turning adorable into lethal," Ilara said, sipping again. "But please continue the tour. There's more to see." What the aliens didn't know, the coffee cups they now sipped from, curiosity had outweighed pride, contained microdrones. The Roomba was mapping biological rhythms. The toaster? Disguised EMP relay. The microwave? A high-frequency scanner masking energy pulses through the floor. The French press alone held enough nanoprocessors to override an alien bridge console within 8 seconds. But humans didn't show teeth. Not at first. A Varkan lieutenant leaned in to sniff the coffee. "Smells burnt." "It is," Ilara said cheerfully. "That's how we like it. The bitterness wakes us up." "Humans are illogical," Sali said. "Absolutely," she agreed. "We're unpredictable. That's what makes us dangerous." In the background, screens displayed footage of Earth's wilderness, mountains, oceans, deserts. The narration, calm and pleasant, described ecosystems while subtly slipping in lines like, "This barren plain was once the site of a nuclear accident. Life returned within a decade. The Arctic wolf, once endangered, adapted by changing its migration patterns, surviving multiple extinction-level winters. Humans learned from these creatures. They endured worse. Then improved the design. None of the delegates commented. Not yet. After the showcase, the aliens gathered in a private chamber aboard their command cruiser, high above the expo station. They scoffed, and insulted and mocked. That woman served us boiling sludge and tape, Jiltrax growled. They weaponized house cleaning devices, Sully added. What next? Battle slippers? Matron Pellin didn't speak. She watched the data feed from their scanners. None of the human tech registered on standard spectrums. No frequencies matched known military devices. That made her uneasy. We may have underestimated them, she finally said. Jiltrax snorted. They've built nothing. They're bluffing, Pellin replied quietly. And yet we saw only what they let us see. Back in the human quarters, Alara stood alone before a wall-sized display showing the alien fleet's real-time movements. Behind her, Dr. Eben typed furiously on a portable terminal. They took the bait, he said. All telemetry confirmed. Their shields, weapons frequencies, even emotional response baselines, all logged. Alara sipped again. Lovely. Upload it to Earth Command. Begin passive protocol. No strikes unless provoked. He hesitated. We're still leaving the Roomba active? Oh yes, she said. They never suspect the Roomba. The tiny machine beeped again, innocently bumping into a wall as if lost. In the Varkan flagship's central AI core, something small clicked. A single line of Terran code, hidden in the residue of a scanned human toaster, slipped through the firewall. Quiet. Precise. It waited. Alara leaned back, looking over Earth's orbital map. They think we brought tech. We brought bait. Dr. Eben glanced at her. You think they'll attack first? She grinned. I'm counting on it. The lights dimmed. Somewhere, quietly, the French press began to bubble again. Space around Seraphis 9 was calm, visually. But the Varkan flagship Bloodhowl was anything but. Ambassador Jiltrax slammed a claw on the control dais. Fire a warning shot at the moon base. Let them know we're done entertaining primitives. Varkan war officers snarled approval. On screen, Earth's small outpost on the barren moon glowed faintly under its atmospheric shield. It wasn't armed. Wasn't even defended, supposedly. Technarch Sully buzzed disapprovingly, tendrils twitching. We haven't declared war. This will be seen as aggression. Jiltrax's grin widened. It is aggression. Matron Pellin's voice cut through the room. Calm. Controlled. If you strike first, there will be no negotiations to fall back on. I don't need negotiations. Jiltrax spat. I need results. In the heart of the human diplomatic quarter aboard the expo station, Commander Alara Quinn stirred sugar into her coffee with unsettling serenity. Behind her, Dr. Raoul Eben read a sensor feed with rising tension. Confirmed energy spike from the Varkan cruiser. They've charged a plasma bolt. Impact in 27 seconds. Alara didn't flinch. Protocol Cobalt. Activate kinetic veil. Across space, Earth's moon base shimmered briefly as a translucent field snapped into place, one previously invisible to every alien scanner. The plasma bolt hit dead center. It blinked out of existence. No explosion. No damage. Just gone. On the Varkan bridge, confusion reigned. Where's the impact? Barked a pilot. Telemetry lost. Scan again. Jiltrax stared, baffled. That should have left a crater. It didn't. Back at the human suite, Alara finally stood. Well, she said, brushing imaginary lint from her uniform. That qualifies as provocation. Eben nodded grimly. Shall I send the message? No. Let's make this personal. Meanwhile, aboard the alien hangar deck, a Ravik technician walked past the quiet corner and stopped. The Roomba, that Roomba, was there. Still slowly crawling across the floor like a lost pet. He narrowed his eyes. Cleaning drone? The Roomba beeped once. Then twice. He stepped closer. The Roomba launched a spike into his chest. Before his neural mesh could even register damage, a white-hot arc pulsed out from its undercarriage, cooking the deck and scrambling the hangar's anti-grav field. A dozen fighters crashed like dropped toys. Then the Roomba exploded. It wasn't a blast designed to destroy. It was designed to infect. Micron-scale drones poured into the floor vents like smoke. On the Ravik ship, control screens flickered. One blinked out. Then another. Then all at once, the entire interface went dark, replaced by a blinking smiley face. The AI screamed. Celi's voice trembled as she projected into the Varkan command deck. The Terran cleaning unit was a data bomb. We've lost 2 ships. Our fleet AIs are compromised. Jiltrax turned, snarling. Impossible! It was a floor pet. It was bait, Pellin said coldly. On cue, the French press, back in the expo room, sputtered and released a puff of steam. Elara leaned close, muttering into it like a priest at confession. Status? The coffee burbled back, an encoded reply in sonic pulses only the human AI could decipher. All enemy systems infected. Begin delay protocols. She nodded. No visible strikes. Let them sweat first. In orbit, panic spread faster than any laser. The Ravik attempted to quarantine their systems. Too late. Navigation failed. Gravlocks reversed. One cruiser flipped upside down, drifted into its own shuttle bay, and detonated on contact with its own fuel stores. From the humans, silence. Matron Pellin, now alone in her war room, watched it all unfold. No human warships. No massive weapons. Just corruption, confusion, chaos. She opened a secure channel. Elara Quinn. Her screen lit up. The human looked refreshed, mug in hand, amused. Matron. How's the show? You did this. Technically, they did it to themselves. We just prepared the theater. Pellin's tone was grave. Why lure us into a trap? We didn't, Elara said, sipping. We lured the wrong ones. Pellin hesitated. Explain. We came here to see who'd shoot first. We've made mistakes before, trusting too quickly, assuming we're not the only apex predators. She paused. We learned. And we don't make the same mistake twice. On the Varkan flagship, warning sirens howled. Jiltrax roared, smashing a console. Deploy every fighter! Weapons bays opened. Missiles rolled out. But every targeting array was blind. One by one, crosshairs vanished. Then, instead of reticles, screens displayed something else. Please enjoy this complimentary human combat playlist. A 1990s rock song blasted through the speakers. The lyrics, You can't touch this. Missiles misfired. Some looped and struck their launchers. Others locked onto friendly vessels. Fleet formation dissolved into spinning chaos. Back in the human suite, Elara leaned on the railing and watched space flicker with distant explosions. Eben chuckled dryly. They're chasing their own engines. They expected lasers, she said. We gave them programming bugs and kitchen appliances. Subtle. Brutal. Effective. One of the Alari ships, still untouched, held position. A single message was broadcast. We are withdrawing. Immediately. The Alari will not challenge the Terran Union. Elara smiled. Wise. She turned back to her terminal. Ready the cannon. Eben blinked. You sure? Let's remind them what a real toaster can do. From behind Jupiter's shadow, a single Earth orbital cannon shifted. Its form was sleek, black, and unremarkable, until its core pulsed to life with quiet, terrifying efficiency. It didn't make noise. It didn't glow. It simply deleted the Varkan destroyer from existence. One moment it was there. The next, empty space. Pellin stared at the feed. Jiltrax's ship? Gone. Just gone. She whispered. Gods. Elara's voice came through like a soft wind. We don't enjoy war, matron. But we excel at it. Pellin said nothing. Only silence remained. Ravik Technarch Salih floated in near darkness, surrounded by the flicker of crippled systems. Sparks danced along the walls of his flagship like fireflies panicking in a jar. His crew, those not consumed by the data collapse, drifted unconscious in anti-grav stasis, their synaptic implants fried by something Salih still couldn't name. His ship had survived. Barely. "Begin system diagnostics," he ordered. A half-second pause. Then the reply came, not from his AI, but from a calm, unnervingly cheerful female voice. "Diagnostics already performed. Conclusion: you've made a terrible mistake." He froze. "Who is this?" "Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't your AI anymore." The screen lit up. Courtesy of Terran Hospitality Services. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth Diplomatic Wing, Alara Quinn reviewed the list of ship casualties while adding another sugar cube to her coffee. "Ravik cruiser still floating," Dr. Raoul Eben noted. "Mostly fried. Their Technarch is likely alive. The rest are stunned or worse." "Leave it," Alara said. "Let him float in silence. Silence teaches better than speeches." Eben scrolled the data feed. 2 Varkin vessels remain. Barely. Ilari are pulling out entirely. No reinforcements inbound. "Good," she replied. "We haven't even raised our voice yet." In the conference chamber orbiting Seraphis 9, the remaining alien dignitaries sat in stunned silence. A few chairs were empty now. Some ships hadn't responded in hours. Matron Pellin stood. "Our council has underestimated the Terrans. We assumed they were naive. They are not." No one interrupted. "They baited us with broken toys," she continued. "Let us scoff. Lured us to reveal our aggression." A delegate whispered. "This was their plan from the beginning?" "No," Pellin said. "This is their nature." On her private feed, Pellin opened a secure line. Alara appeared, freshly caffeinated, no stress on her face. "Matron," she greeted. "Still here. I admired the Ilari restraint. You weaponized an expo." "We measured intentions," Alara corrected. "And in your people's case, restraint was noted. You walk away intact." Pellin hesitated. "You orchestrated this entire event." Alara's eyes sharpened. The smile didn't fade. "We invited the galaxy to play fair. Those who didn't found out who they were playing with." Pellin exhaled. "You always intended to provoke conflict." "We always expected it," Alara said. "That's different." In orbit, the Ravik ship began to move, limping toward a repair relay station, until it froze mid-drift. Another screen came to life inside the bridge. "Unauthorized movement detected. You're in timeout." Salih's translator vibrated with static rage. "You can't lock down a vessel from another species." The reply was swift. "You really should read the coffee cup's terms and conditions." Back in the Terran suite, Eben raised an eyebrow. "We're getting pushback from certain sectors. Some delegates are calling this a war crime." Alara tilted her head. "Let me guess, the ones that tried to shoot us first?" "Exactly. Then call it performance diplomacy." The truth was, the Expo had never been a real Expo. Earth's command knew long before the event that certain galactic powers had been preparing to contain humanity's spread. The rumors were loud, the spy reports louder. But humans didn't do preemptive strikes. Not in the traditional sense. They built a room full of appliances, sprinkled in sarcasm, offered drinks, and watched who reached for a knife. Now they knew. Now the game had changed. On the alien side, panic metastasized. The Varkan remnants tried to retreat. But their ships had been quietly tagged by nanite trackers during Alara's cookie-serving routine. Every crumb had carried code. Now, every jump they attempted led them back. Back to Earth space. In a hidden chamber on the Terran fleet's command ship, Admiral Cashin Black reviewed the final footage. He leaned toward the hologram. "That one," he said, pointing to Giltrex's second-in-command. "He's still trying to signal outer colonies." "Orders, sir?" asked the aide. Scramble his frequency. Loop a Terran nursery rhyme. Seconds later, the Varkan fleet's emergency broadcast blared an old human children's song into the void. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Pelin sat in her quarters, head bowed. What do they want? She muttered. Not territory. Not resources. Power? No. They wanted certainty, to know who would strike when the lights dimmed. And now they did. Elara received the surrender transmission from 3 minor systems and a Ravik research colony. They apologized profusely. Even offered upgrades to Earth's existing systems. She declined politely. We like our things basic, she replied. Easier to fix mid-battle. Later, when she returned to the original demo room, now empty, flickering from stray EMP waves, Elara stood alone beside the dented toaster. Dr. Eben joined her, carrying a data pad. They've stopped laughing. She touched the toaster gently. Of course they have, she said. They saw what it really was. A bluff? No, she said. A reminder. He frowned. Of what? She looked out the viewport as the debris of a Varkan dreadnought drifted past. Of what happens when you forget that humans didn't survive Earth by being stronger. We survived because we're too damn stubborn to stay dead. The Galactic Council chamber had never been silent this long. Not even during war declarations. Now, across a crescent-shaped amphitheater orbiting the neutral planet Varaxis, dozens of alien delegations sat frozen, eyes on one figure standing at the center platform. Commander Elara Quinn stood there without armor, without guards, without visible weapons. Just a pristine Terran uniform, a small leather-bound notebook, and a calm cup of coffee balanced in one hand. Esteemed representatives, she began, tone measured. We appreciate your invitation to clarify recent misunderstandings. A few seats remained empty. Varkan seats. Some simply flickered with offline symbols, others had been removed entirely, as if to erase the shame of their absence. The Ravik delegation twitched. The Ilari remained still. Others simply avoided looking directly at her. Elara continued. We brought tech to share, coffee to offer, and conversation to build. What we received instead was condescension, sabotage, and an unprovoked military strike on a civilian moon base. She paused, sipped. No Terran was killed. Thankfully. You aimed poorly. One of the Tsul delegates, covered in chitinous plating, finally spoke. You turned an expo into a battlefield. Elara nodded. Because some of you made it one. We merely responded. You baited us. Hissed Sally's proxy drone from the Ravik enclave. We invited you to judge us. You did. Then acted accordingly. So we responded accordingly. In the gallery's rear rows, Admiral Cashin Black watched from a secure observation deck. He didn't need to speak. Elara knew the script. This wasn't conquest. It was confirmation. Humanity was no longer a curiosity. They were a variable no one could afford to ignore. Elara clicked the leather cover of her notebook open. Let's go over the sequence of events, she said lightly. Coffee served at 0900 hours. Varkan fleet charges weapons at 0942. Unprovoked plasma shot fired at 0944. Human countermeasures initiated at 0945. By 1006, 7 ships neutralized. By 1015, 29 vessels either disabled or surrendered. She shut the notebook. We call that restraint. Matron Pelin rose. Her voice, though ancient, still held command. We acknowledge the Ilari were present. We did not engage. We chose observation. And we now choose alliance. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Elara offered a small, respectful nod. That would be acceptable. Sally's proxy buzzed. Your restraint was disproportionate. You crippled fleets, disabled entire AIs. Our restraint, Elara said, stepping forward, was the reason you're still alive to complain. A hushed tension followed. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Her words landed like ordnance. You've all grown too used to fighting neat wars. she said, addressing the room. Lasers, fleets, treaties. Predictable. She leaned in. Humanity isn't neat. We don't broadcast our strength. We let others assume. And when they push too far, they meet the species that survived a dozen self-made apocalypses. A Zarthii ambassador whispered to his aide. They're not conquerors. They're survivors turned strategists. Ilara heard. She didn't deny it. At her signal, a new hologram blinked to life. The room lit up with images of Terran tech once mocked, the toaster, the Roomba, the French press. Now overlaid with tactical readouts, AI protocols, nanite dispersal maps, stealth subroutines. You saw garbage, Ilara said softly. We saw tools. They were disguised as civilian items. A gallery admiral protested. No, she replied. They are civilian items. We just know how to turn anything into a weapon. That's the difference. Someone from the council finally dared ask. Then what do you want, Commander? Ilara didn't blink. We want peace. Stunned silence. She added, but real peace. Not the kind where someone smiles at us while quietly building war fleets. You could have obliterated us, said Pelin. But you didn't. Because war wastes too much coffee, Ilara said dryly. Then, and because Earth has a rule, never start a war when a conversation might prevent it. But if the conversation fails, well. She let the sentence hang. By now, even the loudest critics were quiet. They had seen the data. They had seen how easily a fleet could be undone by misreading a smile. On her final slide, Ilara showed a single Terran phrase on the screen. Do not test us. Under it, a footnote. Unless you're really curious. Then, by all means, just don't expect a second chance. She closed her notebook and turned to leave. Before stepping down, she paused. Oh, and one last thing. Everyone looked up. The Roomba? It's still out there. Somewhere. Several delegates shivered. As she exited the chamber, Pelin caught up to her in the corridor. You changed the rules today. No, Ilara said. We just revealed that humans were playing a different game all along. Aboard the human observation ship, Admiral Black stood beside a massive viewport. Debris from the destroyed fleets drifted like ash on the edge of starlight. His comm pinged. A message from Ilara. Mission concluded. Clarity achieved. Diplomacy secured, with prejudice. He allowed himself a small grin. God bless the coffee pot. Later, as the Terran fleet exited the Seraphis system, a signal bounced quietly from station to station across the galaxy. It was a simple message. Do not mistake simplicity for weakness. And beneath it, a file attached. One image. A smiling Roomba, still rolling.